In the same times, it having been decided on the advice of Fra Hieronimo Savonarola, at that time a very famous preacher, to make the great room of the council in the Palazzo della Signoria in Florence. The commission was given to Cronaca, an ingenious man and a friend of the said Fra Girolamo, and he did it with much skill and diligence, and in particular showed most beautiful ingenuity in making the roof, as the building was very big in all respects.
The roof of the Sala del Maggior Consiglio was supported by 12 tie beams, ingeniously constructed by Cronaca so as to bridge a space of over 22 meters wall to wall.
So he made the tie beams of several pieces fitted together, very well attached, as it was impossible to find single beams of sufficient length, and whereas other tie beams have only one king post, all the ones in this room have 3 each, one large one in the middle and one on each side, shorter.
The beams were made from fir wood from the forests of the Casentino, because the fir, as Vitruvius says,
has much of air and fire. It is not heavy and does not easily bend under the weight, but rather stays straight in the roof. So His Excellency, considering that the body of this room is the greatest and most magnificent and most beautiful in all Europe, decided in those parts which were defective to embellish it, and in all the other parts to make it most highly adorned above all the buildings of Italy, with the design and workmanship of Giorgio Vasari from Arezzo. And thus, having raised the height of the walls, the beams made by Cronaca which support the roof were restored and put back, above with a new order, and the old ceiling, which was ordinary and simple and not worthy of this hall, was remade with various compartments and rich cornices, full of carving and all covered with gold.
Vasari constructed a double system of beams, 12 to support the roof and 13 to bear the 1,145 square meters of the richly gilded coffered ceiling, whereas in the Sala del Maggior Consiglio, Cronaca's beams had supported both the roof and the much lighter coffered ceiling. Both types of Vasari's beams, which reused those made by Cronaca, are of fir wood, although the ones that support the coffered ceiling also make use of small pieces in oak. Following a precise directive in Leon Battista Alberti's treatise on architecture, make sure that the wood does not come in contact with the plaster, leaving open spaces around it so that it does not become damaged or rotten, Vasari rested the beams of the Salone directly on stone, which bears their weight better and prevents them from coming into contact with the plaster of the walls. The roof, less steeply pitched than Cronaca's, is supported by tie beams with a single king post, whereas the trusses which bear the coffered ceiling consist of tie beam, rafters and a central king post, plus 2 shorter king posts. The struts connecting the counter tie beam to the smaller rafters are of oak. Between one tie beam and the other there is a close network of smaller rafters connected to ties of fir wood and iron to support the frames and panels of the ceiling.